Hey, beautiful souls. So sorry, I have to film in my car because I'm still in between places, but and I kind of look crazy, whatever. But I want to share this message because I'm not a medium at all. I wouldn't say that, but I'm gonna be talking about the late, beloved, rest in power angel, Shannan Gilbert. I don't know if you guys have watched or are following the case of the Go-Go murders, the Go-Go Beach murders, or whatever it's called. But I had watched a documentary like a few months ago about it, and Shannon never really left my mind. And I'll get into kind of why, because as I was connecting to spirit and like meditating on her energy, and as I was like watching another clip of her that popped up on my feed in my algorithm, like I just started getting a lot of messages. So I write a lot because I'm in a lot of courses right now. So I typed it, so I am looking at my phone. No, this is not no ChatGPT or no fucking copy and paste, nothing like that. This is me connecting to the higher guides of Shannon or Shannon, me connecting to my guardians about messages about this case for her. Because I've also had at least one past life where I was taken out too soon, I was silenced, my story was never told. I don't think I was ever, whoever took me out was ever discovered. So I've always kind of felt compelled by these stories and things like that. So this channeled message is shared for spiritual awareness. This is my psychic opinion, okay? All statements are alleged and for entertainment purposes only. Okay? So let's move forward. So, Shannon, when I was looking at her, when I was just getting messages, she was a trailblazer. She was the initiator of the case. She was a truth teller, okay? Outgoing, sassy, vibrant, defiant to the system that she saw destroyed her. That's what I heard. Okay, then I also heard that she comes from a fractured priestess line maternally. So what I mean by that is she comes from a divine Sophia Christos lineage, okay, that was fractured, heavily distorted back in like probably the Babylonian, Egyptian, it could be whenever, but this has happened to a lot of these sacred priestess lines, and I feel like that's another reason why I felt like I was getting messages about her, okay? So maternally, that's what it is. So basically, suppressed, psychic, powerful woman, okay? And then on her dad, I picked up, I'm not trying to assume anybody's race, but I will say I did pick up that he's indigenous to somewhere. Suppression trauma is heavy for him. That kind of like the systematic trauma that they put indigenous and black people through, right? From her dad, and that he was an addict, okay, and that he was mostly absent, and that when he was around, it wasn't really too fond memories, okay? And she experienced overexposure and inappropriate sexualization early in life. That's what I picked up on. Likely tied to unspoken trauma or boundary violations. Okay, but she had a big heart. I heard she was very loving. I saw that she was very loving. She carried a lot of the weight of her family, of her, because it was her mom and her siblings, and she was the oldest, so she inherited the most karma from both of her parents, which I believe in that because I am the oldest sibling of both of my parents, so oldest child of both of my parents, and I can attest to that. But I'm not saying that's for everybody, right? Everyone's gonna resonate with that. But let's getting back to Miss Shannon. So she was a sweet girl, and she just wanted to live life to the fullest, and while also putting her trauma on the back burner. So there's a lot of things that she did to just kind of emotionally bypass things, which we all do, right? We all do this. But she was a go-getter, and then I also heard to her own detriment, okay? She was exposed early on to things that kids shouldn't be exposed to, shouldn't be around type thing. She had a bad predisposition, allegedly. So she went out with a bang. She was not to be silenced anymore, is what I heard. Okay, what I heard, it was like, I'm not gonna be silenced anymore. She came from a line of women who were silenced, and then her dad's line was also silenced. So her coming in and carrying most of that karma, what I picked up, right? She carried sacred fire in her womb. Okay, so this she was like, you know what I'm saying, like, she was like hell on wheels, respectfully. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that, just like magnetic, beautiful. Like, you know, she was fiery in your face, loving, caring, loyal to the ones that she loved. You know what I'm saying? She knew what she wanted. She wasn't gonna, you know, cut corners with you, nothing like that. So, she had been systemized. I picked up on that. So, I don't know if that kind of bleeds in from like her dad or maybe her mom. Maybe she was maybe at one point put in foster care or something like that. So what I did pick up on the mom, because the mom, I'm gonna link her documentary down below, one I can find on YouTube, so you guys can actually like peep into the story too if you are interested in this, or if this like pulls at your heartstrings. But because it honestly is a very touching story. It is sad. It is a true crime, so it's not for everybody. But for the ones that it is, I will link it below so you guys understand what's going on. But her mom advocated for her. But her mom, unfortunately, passed away. Not passed away, but she was killed by her little sister that suffered from mental health issues. So, again, a very silenced, suppressed maternal line, okay? So, when it came... Oh, yeah, so when I picked up on her mom was always trying her best to really, like, pick up the slack from the masculines that would come around and would probably do wrong. Things like that to her kids. And she was also very, like, heavily abused from masculines. And she always, like, had a lot on her plate. She was a very stressed out woman. I wouldn't be surprised if she had, like, immune disorders and things like that, because, like, she was just very stressed all the time. And when it came to men for Shannan, I picked up on daddy issues, obviously. But she wasn't only the type of girl was like, oh, I'm promiscuous because I have daddy issues. It was really like she was trying to get money for her family. She would help out her mom anytime she needed, or her sister, you know. She, like, loved to give back to the ones that she loved. She did love to party, and she loved to get, like, a new outlook. She was adventurous. She wanted to, like, spread her wings, you know what I'm saying? She wanted to, like, get out of the ghetto, so to speak. She wanted to get out of the hood, you know, so to speak. She wanted to live lavish, and this is the way that she found suit was best for her, you know. And really, she kind of looked at it as, like, I heard kind of, like, because I got that feeling, too, when I was in foster care, too. When I started getting to bad things, is like, oh, I'm already accustomed to danger, so, like, I kind of invited it in. Like, it was nothing to me. This is what I'm used to. Kind of like when people, you know, sometimes you gotta admit, like, you get in a relationship, like, you know, it becomes toxic. Like, you understand that, like, you're saying, and that both of y'all are kind of just addicted to the toxicness and stuff like that, or just, like, you know, it gets like that with people and stuff. So, I don't believe, because I asked, I was like, did she have a pimp? Was it, like, a pimp kind of thing that went on that, like, was, like, a bad kind of situation like that? And I got an instant no. Like, no, she did not. She did this, like, kind of, like, as, like, a side thing, but it became a main thing because she got more money from it. What I picked up on. This was fated, though. Okay? Her soul chose this to be one of many who would bring awareness to the silence and to the shamed of those who carry the sacred womb codes. And to bring awareness to sex workers, prostitutes, and how the collective views them. She was a badass. Intense. And I say that respectfully. You know, I definitely, when I connected to her energy, beautiful energy. Beautiful energy. I felt very familiar with mine. Like, she was just someone who was very misunderstood and had a bad predisposition. She wanted better for herself. She got into bad decisions that she only knew. You know what I'm saying? She was doing the best she could. She was very strong, intuitive, protective, determined, but also very self-destructive. She kind of gave me, I heard Femi Fatal, and I saw, like, the Britney Spears cover. She was like a diva, the life of the party, but in a good way, you know what I'm saying? So she came from poverty, so she probably liked to, like, be able to wear Gucci, be able to wear, like, Chanel. That probably meant a lot to her. That probably helped her feel more secure in her body and things like that, because we know with, you know, sex abuse comes insecurity and things like that. So she was targeted. This is what I picked up, though. When I asked about, so what happened? What happened? And I got group. Okay? So I'm going to say she was targeted by a group, maybe, after a simple business deal. So it was, to her, it was a simple business deal, and every day, like, okay, this is what I'm used to. But then it took a sharp left, sharp turn for the worse. And the others around her that night should be heavily questioned and investigated more, because I know there was some that were questioned because I watched the documentary, but I feel like there's going to be a breadcrumb coming in this case. And I asked when, and they gave me, like, I heard one. I saw one. So, 1 year, 1 week, 1 month, I don't know. But one. There's going to be a breadcrumb that's going to come up that's going to break this case open more. Okay? So, it feels like she may have been punished or harmed for trying to escape or speak out, especially when she had made that phone call. So, like, I feel like she basically, like, was going to get away, but she had got trampled up, and they kind of, like, allegedly, right, they hurt her bad, and, took her life because she spoke up. So it was another act of that kind of, like, a parallel from a past life. I instantly picked up on that, where she probably was also silenced, burned to the stake, something like that, because of her throat chakra from being part of one of these priestess lines. And then, yeah, I picked up that she was a tantric dragoness, okay? And that's why I felt like I instantly connected with her, and she connected with me, okay? Because she kind of stayed in my mind for a while, and I'm like, what's going on with this? And then I kind of, like, it's like, okay, I'm meditating now. Let me see if I can get some messages on it. And it came through, and I'm so honored that I'm able to read this energy first, because I hope that I'm able to do more videos like this and, you know, hopefully bring some awareness and justice to these families and stuff like that. So, okay, Gilgo. So this is going to go a little bit dark. So, Gilgo. So, the one who has been assumed to be the killer, right? I tapped into his energy a little bit. I really just connected to my guardians about it. I didn't really want to tap into his energy. So, he wasn't the one who did it, allegedly, but he's connected to a darker web of higher ups that subconsciously, spiritually are degrading, or they come for the sacred womb keepers and holders. Okay? And then I heard the word incest, I-N-C-E-S-T. Energetically, it felt like an unhealthy enmeshment or distorted bond with the mother figure went on early for him, boundaries blurred or inverted early on in life. His energetic profile carried heavy reversal patterns, okay? Dominant, control, obsessed, emotionally detached, with possible psychological distortions that feel both inherited and deeply reinforced, okay? So, not only was this a genetic thing, like some people are just born like that, like he wasn't just born like that, but he made some decisions to get jumped in more like that. Okay, anyways, so this is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only, okay? So, then I picked up on OCD, bad, sociopathic, psychopathic, with being in control. Even though he was a big guy and could easily dominate at any time, he probably never felt very secure in control of his essence ever. So he took it out on others. And I kind of feel like he was taken over, okay? So not many respected him or took him very seriously. And even the people that, you know, he's tied to. Anyway, so him keeping the house like it was. I'm going to link the documentary so you guys understand what I'm saying. But he lived in his childhood home, and it stayed the same. He never fixed it up. But I kind of, like, tapped in on that. I'm like, why was that? And it was basically him keeping the house like it was when he was a kid, when he was living in that perpetual perverse loop he endured as a child. So it was like he was basically reliving that distorted pleasure, that sense of safety that he had, that he knew. Okay, and I picked up on intestinal issues coming from him, pancreatic cancer, limbic system being, like, all backed up and all kinds of things with him. If you just look at him, you can tell. Something with the solar sacral womb area of the body. Okay. So then I asked Spirit, I said, did his family know? I got a why. So, yeah. Or either they were suspicious or had feelings, or they didn't see much of an issue with it because of their programming that they got from from him genetically or mentally. So one of his kids actually found some things of his and kept it a secret, I picked up on. So, like, if you watch the documentary, you learn, like, they tell you that, oh, his family had no idea what was going on. But, I don't know. There was something disturbing in the creative expression of one of his children's art that reflected an unhealthy or twisted view of women, possibly influenced by hidden energies in the home. So the one, if you guys put the pieces together and do your investigation, because I'm not, this is all allegedly for entertainment purposes only, right? I gotta save my ass, y'all, you know what I'm saying? I really do. So, basically, one of his children has a Tumblr account out there and has some very inappropriate art that was found, and I feel like they peeped some stuff that in the home, and this is why. So then I heard the word PAWN. So he feels like a PAWN, so he's not the originator. He's not the original. He's not the only. Okay? But someone who was invited into this secret brotherhood for ritualized involvement. His participant feels like part of a larger power structure, possibly for belonging, power, or protection. So a false sense of belonging, power, and protection for himself. So why did he choose that, right? Why would he think to do that? I guess. I'm not excusing anyone's behavior. So he's part of some brotherhood, some secret society, allegedly, that did it, but he's not directly tied to Shannan Gilbert. But he wouldn't dare speak on it either, so if he did get charged with it, he wouldn't say anything. So, again, like I said, he was taken over. He's a puppet. He's not in control of his sovereignty at all. So, like, he's not in control of his body, his soul essence at all. And not only from, like, a physical standpoint in the 3D, but, like, from behind the scenes. If you guys catch on, you know what I mean. So, and then we're going to wrap this up. So, and then I picked up that he's always kind of been weird and odd. Like, weird's okay, right? But, like, there's some people who are, like, weird, strange, okay? Odd, and has a deep need to feel wanted, and he was used to participate in allegedly ritualistic activities to fit in for power. So that kind of was his whole life theme. That was like when I was picking up things from his energy, that's kind of what all came through. Insecurity, power, false sense of self, never felt good in his own body, not in power of his true essence, okay? Okay, so we're shifting out of that energy. I'm going to wrap this up. So I said, will the one who actually did it be caught? Spirit. Okay, and this is what I heard. Because I'm loony. No, the one who did it never will be. But there will be things coming out soon. Like I said, there will be a breadcrumb and a lead. And like I said, I got the number 1. Some sort of lead in this investigation will tie her in, Shannan, and we will, as a collective, learn it wasn't just one fellow that was a part of this. So that's all I got for you guys. Again, this was all for entertainment purposes, and this is all alleged. This is my psychic opinion. Rest in power, Shannan Gilbert. Sweet angel, I see you. It's safe to be free. Your story is going to be told. Until next time, I know I don't usually do videos like this, and some people are probably going to be like, oh my gosh, she's nuts. What does she think she is now? Whatever. I don't know. But I just wanted to share this. I was like, should I share this? Should I share this? And my guides are like giving me yes. So, you guys let me know. I'm going to leave the documentary below so you guys can fill yourself in on what you guys think too. So, because I know I have a lot of other people who follow me that have the gift of discernment and have a lot who are very gifted. So, I love you guys.